Hello, everybody, and welcome to, well, I'm not really sure what this is. It's kind of an unusual video. We should point out right away that we are post-commentating this over some
We're
footage that we
we're
created
cheating.
for a
We're
video that,
cheating. We're cheating YouTube.
yeah, so, Andrea, would you like to quickly go over why it is that we are post-commentating this instead of recording it live like we normally do for sibling rivalry?
Is it because we didn't do enough audio tests, so you couldn't hear us at all?
Yeah, there was that. It's the original video. Unfortunately, the background music kind of drowned out all we were talking about. We may play a clip of that here or not. If not, just editor cut that out.
Your bedroom, Dad.
I just sent my new number to all my contacts.
Uh, but yeah. So anyway, you couldn't
Or
really hear
don't?
what we were talking about. And we couldn't really keep it because the game that we chose to play, of course, just happened to be a game that you can't really repeat playing once you've played it the first time.
Yeah, because then you'll just be like, "What a twist!"
What a twist!
With a big ol' question mark. Breaking chalk is the most satisfying feeling in the world. You should try it sometime.
Okay, well that's not what we're talking about today. We're here to talk about Andrea. What game is this?
Uh, we're here to talk about a normal lost phone again.
Which is a little indie, I don't know, puzzle slash
Visual
point and
novel.
click adventure slash visual novel type game that you can buy on the super duper cheap on Steam. It's only like a few dollars.
I thought you were about to say you're combined on the Super Nintendo.
You can buy it on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System,
The
also known
game's
as the
actually
SNES.
20 years old.
Yeah,
On the SNES.
this is a retro review. No, so this is, yeah, like we said, it's a story-driven visual novel type experience that Andrea, my sister, showed me. Um,
Discovered it from He Who Shall Not Be Named.
oh, that's the guy.
Yep.
Oh, rip poor Jared. Um,
Shh, we don't speak his name. He's like Bloody Mary. He'll rise from the floorboards.
and you send your dick pics. Anyway, so we might cut that out. Honestly, it was funny, but we might cut that out. So anyway,
Demonetized.
talk about normal lost phone. The gameplay, the premise is essentially that you, random person who has no name,
Randy.
Randy, yes, we'll call ourselves Randy. So Randy finds a phone, it's a smartphone, on the ground. It's unlocked, and they have total access to the phone. And being the good Samaritan that we are,
Good ol' Smurden.
I'm so smart. Uh, being the good Samaritan that you are, you're going to attempt to try and figure out who the phone belongs to, if possible, and try and return it to them, which of course would never happen in real life. So that's the most unbelievable part of the whole premise, if you ask me. So yeah, the whole idea revolves around you attempting to use the various text messages that are on the phone, and as well as emails and various apps on the phone to try and figure out more about the owner, learn about what they do, what they're like, and see if you
Learn who
can
was phone.
learn who was phone. And
I just bumped my microphone. I'm a monster.
it's fine. It didn't get picked up. Uh, yeah, and you're trying to figure out who it was and try to return the phone to them. And that pretty
Hooray!
much brings us to the end of the non-spoiler part of the
Yeah, you
review.
basically just summarized everything you guys talked about during the podcast, which that just went up like today, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Um,
Time to date the audio recording.
yeah, don't do that. Um,
Too late. I already did. It's very sad.
how did this happen? So, so as you explore the phone, specifically when you start to explore the text messages part of it, you start to learn that shortly before Mr. That's the character that make the owner of the phone's name's Sam.
Sam was phone.
Yeah, Sam was phone. Spoilers. That's actually the whole thing. It's like that's it. That's over. Da 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 da. Um.
Get our credits music that we don't have.
Uh. But yeah, so the phone owner is named Sam, and we find out that Sam was going through some kind of dramatic stuff before he disappeared all of a sudden
Like 2 hours before the game starts.
on his birthday. I think. On his
Yep.
birthday? Yeah, it's a birthday.
Yep. He got a
And
gift, and it wasn't money.
he got a gift and it wasn't money. He didn't like the gift. He hated it so much he had to run away.
Could you imagine if that was the plot?
Yeah.
It's like I just wanted like $15. Screw this shit. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and so it's like you're kind of left to wonder, like, what exactly was it that made Sam freak out and run away and disappear on his birthday? And that's where I guess the rest of the game comes in.
Yep.
Do we want to talk more about the game, or do you think we should do the story next?
Let's just go with the gameplay first, because it'd probably be the shorter of the two sections.
All right, so I'll take over for gameplay here. So
Okay.
basically, the whole, like I said at the top of the video, the whole point of the game is that it's essentially a point-and-click adventure visual novel where everything revolves around you trying to decipher various codes and passwords to unlock the various features on the phone, the various apps, and such and so forth, to gain access to more information about Samuel and try to figure out where he is, what he's up to, and learn more about his life. There's a major component of dates, like various important dates, including birthdays, are sprinkled throughout the game.
Yep. Because like every other password, it's like a date.
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and there's no real like ticking clock. There is a clock that ticks at the top of your game. You find the phone at exactly 10 p.m.
Yeah, but it mostly just ticks down as like a how long you've been playing type thing.
Yeah, it's really more like a timer than it is an actual
Timer?
like like you're not gonna run out of time. It's like Sam's not like dangling off a cliff, and if you take too long, he'll fall and die. That's not the premise.
Okay, but you thought Sam was dead, like, up until the big reveal.
Yeah, I got goofed a little bit by the game. But that's kind of part of the story is that like you don't really know what's up with Sam for a large portion of the game.
Sam equals asshole.
You just know
Making references to the gameplay footage no one heard.
what's the same. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it other than the fact that yeah, it really is just about taking down important numbers and plugging them into various password protected apps and components of the phone and seeing what ticks. There's a somewhat of a real time element where it's like certain, sometimes you have to send a text or send an email on Sam's behalf to try and like, trick some of his contacts into talking to you or giving you information, and that's kind of based off of real time information. You have to do a thing where you have to reset a password in one of the apps. So there's this minor element of like timing to it, but nothing super serious. It's completely casual. The whole thing is done in like 2 hours, and there's no serious hard time limit. And that's pretty much all there is to say about the game.
And I feel like, because if the recording shows it at all, you'll notice that we ended around in-game midnight, but that's just because we took like a half-hour long break at some point because shit needed to get done.
There's part of that, and then it's also like, we also embellished a little bit. We talked and chatted, and obviously we were reading out loud. Of course, we spent all this time reading out loud, even though our audio was barely audible.
All our efforts were in vain. Legend says if you were there in the half-hour of radio silence, you could distinctly hear the noises of Plants vs. Zombies in the background.
Oh. But yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to say about the game. It's a very simple, casual, laid-back experience. It's only a few dollars, and, you might be busy for, like, an hour and a half. And most of the puzzles are, like, fairly forgiving. Like, you kind of, if you think about it, and pay attention to, like, if you know that numbers are important, anytime you see numbers, you'll
The most glaring example of like a difficult puzzle is that there's one instance where a password isn't a date, rather it's a zip code.
yeah. So it's like you kind of gotta pay attention to any piece of information that might sound like a code or could be used as a password. Uh,
Any number, really. Numbers are good.
Numbers are great. That's why I'm going to finance college. Um,
Wow, spoilers.
Spoilers. But yeah. So from a technical standpoint, it's a very simple, not very demanding experience. If you're into largely story-driven games with a very minor puzzle-solving element, then this would probably be good for you. It's not usually my cup of tea. I tend to prefer games to be a little bit more, interactive, hands-on, action-oriented. But it was still a fun little experience. I don't regret doing it.
And then it
But
was
obviously,
revealed my ulterior motive in our sibling rivalry videos was to get you to play more like visual novelty stuff. Tune in next week where we completely derail Pokemon Crystal Bingo and play a dating simulator.
we find out that the emulator that we've been using to play that game up until now is like 50% a normal ROM, but then like it just turns into like a Pokemon dating sim right at the very end.
You just try to seduce Silver, which goes about as well as you think.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, so I guess we're turning it over to story. I'm gonna go ahead and let
Yeah.
you deliver that.
Actually, actually, one thing I want to bring up real quick, with the whole
Okay.
kind of has horror gamey vibes at the start. It's like Sam is dead, except not really. It doesn't help that especially nowadays, pretty much any game that's based on a mobile phone will be spoopy in some way, shape, or form. Just to name a couple, there's this one that was going around called Simulacra, where just this girl went missing and you had to find her, and shit was going down, man. I don't even remember what happened. But what I'm saying is, it didn't help that the stigma of mobile phone games are usually spooky. I didn't
And
word that.
this one isn't at all. It's not scary at all. It's just a total normal. It's a normal phone. It's a normal lost phone. The title even sounds like really like conspicuous. Like it has that almost like the Doki Doki Literature Club vibe of just like trying way too hard to sound innocent. That there has to be something suspicious going on. It's just a normal lost phone. Nothing to see here. Move along, and then demon eats your face. You know, like you find Sam and he's like literally a demon. But no,
He's
it's
a
he's
zombie.
but he's not. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome, sort of. Speaking of
I
everything
mean,
not being awesome, Andrea, would you like to give us a rundown of the story here?
good old violent homophobia. Let's go.
All right, from the start.
Okay. So basically, when you start up the game, you hit literally any button, and you get four text messages from Sam's dad. Dad, that's his name. Um, and he's just like, "Hey, where are you?" But you look back and you see there's a bunch of conversations, especially revolving around a girl, Melissa. And so you're like, "Okay, I gotta look into that at some point." It's just daisy chaining text messages, basically. Like, you're never gonna be in a situation where you're not led from someone else you need to go to another.
Yeah, it's like
Things like that.
the game when it starts, it gives you the text messages from Dad to get you started, but then it's like each time you read a new text chain, usually some new person or persons come up in that conversation that lead you to want to learn about how your relationship with that person went.
Yeah, but it's half the time you'll see the last text message, which for example, the last text message from Melissa is like, "Hey Sam, you're toxic. Please get out of my life forever." Which you're like, "Oh, that's weird," because Dad was talking up their relationship like it was all sunshine and clouds.
And I'm not sure how I feel about that from a presentation standpoint. It's like I understand it's like accurate, like it's immersive because that's how text messages actually work.
Yeah,
It's like part of me kind of wishes that it started you from the top, so you don't get a spoiler of it immediately ends in horror. Like I kind of wish I could start from the beginning and watch it descend into madness by the end. But
yeah.
anyway, carry on.
But with Melissa, so Sam has this other friend, Alice, and Melissa's like, "Hey, how come I've never met Alice before, eh? Eh?" And Sam's just like, "Oh, fuck, not this shit again." Because he's just kind of sick of it. Because Alice is like your token best friend, you know?
She's a
But,
good girl. She don't need no hassle.
yeah. But, it's even lampshaded by Sam later that, at some point, because he talks about how Melissa was like, yeah, no, she's like, I don't, no sex until marriage. I'm very good at explaining things. And so Sam's like, yeah,
Celibacy.
that's great. I honestly don't want to fuck ever. At least I don't think so. I don't know, man. I hate my body. It sucks. But then, like, something that Sam interprets as later on is, like, at the end of the new year, Melissa's like, hey, got a surprise for you, Winky face, Lenny face.
Yeah, insert
And
Lenny face here. Yeah.
and Sam's just like, no, please don't. I don't want this.
Yeah, she basically is all like, remember what I said about the whole not having sex thing? Yeah, no, let's do it.
JK, pranked.
And they basically, they address it later as like, Sam suspects that, Melissa feels threatened by the presence of. We should say Melissa's his girlfriend, right? I mean, I don't think we said that.
Did we not say that?
I don't think we said that explicitly. Melissa's Sam's girlfriend at the time, at the beginning of the story,
Yeah.
or prior to
Split
beginning
up.
of the story, I suppose.
Yeah.
And with this other female friend named Alice, Melissa just feels a little threatened, and she's like, okay, I gotta beat her to it, and it's like, he's
Gotta
mine,
beat her
back
to
off.
it.
And so that's why she decided to make a move preemptively.
I like that you're here to clarify things because I'm bad at explaining anything.
Just keep going.
Yeah. But then, so we see that, like, Alice is really just, like, Sam's friend from his little, like, board game meet club. So that's, like, just a fun, cute time. And then you learn, like, there's super big dramas happening in the board game club with, like, Anne, who's just a bitch. And
Bunch
it's
of
like,
nerds.
yeah, and Anne's just like, I need to test my boyfriend's loyalty by telling another girl that he's into her or whatever. Which is just horrible. Just professional dating advice from Immaterial Gamers. Don't be a controlling bitch.
Bitch.
Worst to live by. But then there's also Lola. Shit, Lola.
Shit,
Um,
Lola. That was a good joke that I wish had survived. Anyway, moving past that.
yeah. So, and then your daisy chain to Lola because apparently Lola lost her shit on Sam. Which, if you decide to investigate the text between the two, it's just Lola claiming that Sam is a monster, and if he were to ever show his face around the board game club again, then, it'd be a bad time for everyone. Especially Sam. So you're just like, oh, I guess Sam's like an asshole or something.
Yeah,
But
so it's
then
like, you don't know who to believe. Who's the good guy here?
are we the baddies? But then it's like, so you do more digging through the text messages. Not a lot more is important, but then you find this app for this dating site called Lovebirds, and you're like, okay, this is something. It's through that you find that Sam has like 2 accounts, because like Sam is bi, and we are no biphobes here. Bi people are great.
Yes, Sam describes himself as bi-curious, essentially. I was like, I'm not really sure, but like, I was like, a little, maybe.
Yeah, and he was saying he was kind of upset that the dating site doesn't really permit people being interested in multiple or the same gender. So he basically just sets up 2 accounts. And the male account's kind of dead, honestly.
The
Like,
what
he's got
account? Are you spoiling things?
No, I'm saying he's 2 accounts for different genders because the
Oh,
dating site won't.
alright. He sets up okay.
Are you spoiling things?
Are you? I don't know. Get back. Cut this bit out. Go back to it.
So basically, the male account is like totally dead. There's like 3 girls who it's obvious they've just skimmed his profile because they're just like, oh, what kind of books do you like reading? And Sam's like, I don't read. It says that in my profile.
Yeah, it's like very surface level. I think like maybe one of them went past a single reply. Like just total non-interest. King
Of
of
course.
fail on the boy side, as usual. That's actually like that's me on dating profiles. It's just like 1 or 2 conversations, nothing ever happened. End of story.
Oh, that's very sad.
Play Despacito. Don't actually do that. Copyright. Don't sing. You're gonna get us demonetized. Anyway,
We're not even monetized.
we're gonna get preemptively demonetized.
um, of course, if things aren't faring much better on the female side, there are a lot more people, but literally only one person had even been like slightly acknowledged with a reply, which in comes Phil.
Phil has
So
entered the chat.
Phil did enter the chat. You're right, and
Literally.
Phil. Oh, right. Important that wasn't brought up. Sam is also part of a book club.
Yes, a book club.
A book club.
Just a
A
normal
club
book
for
club.
books. Yep. Doki Doki!
That wouldn't be an ambitious crossover.
Move over, Infinity War. What was I gonna say? Yeah, book club. And so Sam and Phil, they just have a good little chat about LGBT stuff because he's like, wow, I sure don't like that this website implies that only straight people use it. That's kind of annoying. And Phil's just like, yeah, dude.
Nah, bro, I know what you mean, bro.
Plot twist, Phil was actually really high. No, he wasn't. He's sober. And I don't really know how to segue into the next bit good.
Just
So
do it, man. Rip that band-aid
okay.
off.
So then it's revealed that the reason Sam was so iffy about Alice and Melissa making contact at all was because Melissa knows Sam as Samuel, obviously. And he states that she'll always see me as Samuel no matter what. Quote. Um, Meanwhile, Alice and the rest of the board games club know Sam as a girl named Samira. And it's pretty much all but stated this is kind of what Lola meant with like, wow, you're a disgusting creature. Please never show your face here again, or I'll spill your little secret to everyone. Because Lola's a bitch.
Shit, Lola.
And Phil's just like, oh, holy shit, well, here's this website to help, young trans folk such as yourself. And Sam's like, oh, sick. I already had an account, but yay. So you find out that Sam's little book club meetings have actually been meetings with all these other LGBT folk in the neighborhood. You can't just say that, though, because literally everyone in his town is a bigot in some way, shape, or form, it seems. Except for Alice. Alice don't care, because Alice is cool.
Yeah, go Alice.
So then, after doing some more digging, you find what is essentially Sam's personal diary, which basically kind of details some more clarity on all the events that have happened, like the breakup with Melissa and the whys and whens and hows of everything. And then, once you get to the very end of these little diary entries, so you get an email from Alice, and you're like, oh, okay. Because during this entire time, there was an email that you could send to her. I mean, it wasn't finished, but and it's real that she's actually replying to an email from real Samira, not you, you disgusting faker.
I found
About
you, Baker.
you're the faker around here. I totally misquoted that, didn't I? Whatever.
Anyway. So it's like, the meat and potatoes here is that you send an email on Sam's behalf to get him talking to people. You do a little digging, you find out that basically, his parents and especially his dad were really pushing him towards, that manly life. Bought a motorcycle for his birthday because men ride motorcycles.
Boner
And
Michaels.
all the pressure and lack of support for who Sam really is just overwhelmed him, and he ran away from home to she ran away from home to like a, I don't know, like basically like almost like a foster home for trans people is almost what it comes across as. A community center
It's
that
like this.
with living arrangements for people who feel like they don't have a strong enough support line at home to, get along.
Yeah.
And it basically wraps up at a nice little bow with Sam finding finding her own way in the world with her two good friends, Alice and Phil, who may or may not be boyfriend material. Uh,
Phil is best girl. We cracked the code.
and they do a little bit of like sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, where it's like, man, I sure hope that whoever finds the phone that you lost respects your privacy and just wipes it out and gets rid of it.
I gotta say, I find there's like something weirdly comedic about because like to trigger the end credits, you have to delete everything from the phone, obviously. But the credits only happen after you see that email from Alice. But you can delete whatever's on the phone at any time, and if you do, it just like farts out, and you're back to the main title screen. We made very liberal use of this when we were doing our test recordings. Clearly not enough.
Yeah, it's basically just like the panic button is like, I started, I wasn't supposed to reset. I gotta say though, as you know, if I was Sam, I would be like really weirded out if like I'm just hanging out in the little foster home, and all of a sudden I find out that an email that I didn't finish got sent to my friend Alice.
Yeah, the
Well,
best
after
part
I
is
lost my phone.
the email that you send to her. It just ends with like, I bet, because like he's talking about like, or she's talking about like her birthday gifts and all that. And it's like, I bet it's,
I bet it's
and Alice is just like, you bet it, you bet it's what?
what is it? Stop giving me suspense. Yeah, because it's like at that point it's just like, oh, someone has my phone, and then you're just like, oh, someone has my phone. Oh no.
See,
But
part of me is still wondering because like there's a point where you have to find a picture of Samira and send it over to Phil. Be like, yep, this is what I look like. But like, I've never seen someone send the wrong picture. So I'm kind of curious as to just like what would happen, you know?
yeah, it's kind of like the Telltale games where like you play it the way you expect to or want to the first time, and then the only reason you have to revisit them is to just trash it, basically, just do
Yeah.
everything wrong.
Just send the email and Phil's like, hey, what the fuck?
It's like this is a picture of a dumpster. Why have you sent me this picture?
Could be a nursery.
I know you have. Could be this is an on fire garbage can. But it's like, listen, I know you have self-esteem issues, but there's no need to be that hurtful.
I'm trash.
But anyway, memes aside, that's pretty much the end of the whole experience. We've talked about the entirety of the game, inside and out. It's like I said,
I
it's a
feel like
fairly simple, laid-back kind of experience.
I just keep feeling like I'm forgetting something because I'm not good at this.
I think you did a pretty good job. I mean,
Okay.
what do you think, Andrea? Would you recommend a normal phone to a normal person who plays video games?
Yeah. Maybe not after they've seen this review, though.
Yeah, maybe we should suggest to Ryan to insert a timestamp to skip over the spoilery part of the review
Here's
and
half the review. Leave us alone.
just let people experience the game for themselves, because it is by the nature of
It's
the
like
game you can
$3.
by the nature of the game you can only experience it once correctly. If you
Yeah.
know
Unless you want to go be an asshole and ruin everything for everyone.
if you have the story told to you, or if you've played the game already, there's nothing for you in replay value. The replay value obviously is a detriment. Like, you don't get anything out of it after the first time. But again, it's like whatever, like $3 or $4, no
Yeah.
big deal.
Unless you wanna go back, look at it, and experience some emotion.
But yeah, I think that brings us more or less to the end of this
Yeah.
video.
Because I
Uh,
know like a lot of people in like the gaming community on YouTube kind of already know about it. Because a couple years ago, Jacksepticeye played through it, so like everyone knows it at this point. But it's like it's still a good game. It's good to talk about. You know?
yeah, no, it's a little conversation piece. A little brain food. Have a nice little story.
I just love how in the credits for the original playthrough, the first thing you had to say to me after it was, "Hey, so do you want to tell me something?"
Yeah,
It's
I've
like,
after our original video was ended, I turned to Andrea and I was like, so is this like your weird way of coming out, or
it's like, no, canon confirmed. Andy is not trans.
does Andy is gay?
Maybe I don't know.
Um, but yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything, unless you have any final closing thoughts or words.
I don't think I do.
All right. Well, in that case, let's see how much of this wrap up I can do by myself off the top of my head. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, your family, your dog, your cat, your grandma. I don't care if she's
Don't share it
asleep.
with your
Just
grandma.
I don't care if she. Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. Good call. I was gonna make a whole thing about like I don't care if she's asleep or not, but like, you know how those old people are about.
I just mean like my grandma specifically.
Oh yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But
This goes from just like a review on a nice, wholesome game to, man, I hate my grandma.
yeah. Thank you for watching this strange, chopped up version of a video that we attempted to make and failed at. This is
I'm
this
I'm
is our
sorry
scrappy
this
leftovers, and I hope it turns into something useful at least.
I'm sorry this interrupted your weekly scheduled Pokemon in big air quotes.
Yeah, Pokemon's coming back. But
Is it for real this time?
yes, for real. But yeah, thank
Didn't
you
the
all.
last episode come out on Monday?
I don't know, man. I'm just fucking been trying to wrap up for like 10 minutes. Uh, cut the bit out. But yeah, thank you all for watching.
Yay.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.